You know what I like about coming to these cities and towns around the country? Um, they may have various art museums and things like that, but usually what I tend to be drawn to is the city's own history and history museum. And this is the Springfield History Museum. And wow, I'm learning a lot here. Springfield, it seems, to have a very major history in the advent of the automobile. Um, they have had quite a history here in creating automobiles that were horseless. Okay, it was first horseless carriage. Dorier. Okay. Um, 1892, 1893. And then he pals with Stevens. And they kind of pump up the volume. Um, Very nice. Okay. Duryea, and then Stevens Duryea comes. All these being made in Springfield here. Now with cars, eventually, without the horse, you need the gasoline. And you need gasoline pumps. Well, on the scene comes Gilbert and Barker, a company here from Springfield. Okay? And they create a major pump that is quite recognizable. It's like an early Texaco. And here, you have the one that interests me. Out of Texas, you got the Pegasus, and what was the history again? From Standard Oil to Mobil Oil, Mobil Gas. Look at that. That's an original right there. You know, first made in Springfield. I mean, it starts here in Springfield. Is that cool? Also here, you have Everett Barney's, 1899. Okay. Look at some of the gems he made. The Knox Automobile Company, his company. Look at this. These are all fueled by the gasoline and pumped from, pumps made here in Springfield. Look at that, pretty nice, huh? Pretty impressive. A lot of automobile history here in Springfield, you know. Atlas, another company. Look at this. This is style. This is class here. Take a peek at that one. That's something. All these are Springfield companies. Okay? A lot of cars here, a lot of manufacturing. Okay? Like gas, you also need tires for the car. You know? The Fisk Rubber Company, Chicopee. Pretty impressive. And then Rolls-Royce. Now you're saying Rolls-Royce, that's not American. Well, no, but the first manufacturing of Rolls-Royce in America was in Springfield, you know. And if you think about it, where else are you going to go? You know, you got so many auto manufacturers here that where else would Rolls-Royce go? You know, but to Springfield. It only seems logical. And that's exactly what they did. Okay? From what I hear, they didn't last too long. Okay? They kind of ran into the Depression. And, you know, but quite impressive. Now, those are like residents' cars, neighbors' cars. Check this out. How about something for the police? Because you're getting a lot of cars all of a sudden manufactured. The police now need something to run them down. The Indian Company. Is that what it's called? Out of Springfield. Creates the Indian, which I never heard that term before. But I recognize the bike, you know, and I recognize, you know, I mean, you've seen these bikes before, you know, with the police there. I didn't know what they're called. They are called Indians, okay, because they were made by the Indian Company, I think it was, here in Springfield. All right. Now you have the police breaking ground with transportation here, and so too is the fire department. With the Knox Company, they create a whole different way of fighting fires. You know, this is an old pole, you know, drawn. It's a pumper. It's a pumper. Before, you used to have buckets, and you used to carry buckets. Everybody would have a bucket. Now, you got the pump. And that can shoot 150, 200 feet. Okay. Invented here in Springfield. You know, this is a pull fire wagon. Okay, they would pull it along. Quite a bit of revolution here in transportation. Various innovations in personal cars and police cars and fire engines. And it's pretty impressive, you know. What's interesting is that a lot of these companies were small. And it seems like they were not mass produced. And so mass production would come with Ford. And I'm not sure of the years, but wow, you know, there's a legacy here of transportation here in Springfield that I never knew about. Whenever I think of manufacturing as far as automobiles were concerned, and their, the auxiliary and you know, the things that are needed with them, I always thought Detroit. You know. But here you got a lot of companies that were designed, and manufacturing seemed to be very piece by piece, you know, and quality was certainly made before Ford got hold of the process and seemed to change the image of Detroit.